Hello, welcome to Sex RX. I'm Dr. Manny. Whether you're in a dry spell or a sexless marriage, getting older doesn't mean your sex life has to be over. Here to help us out is gynecologist and author of Yes You Can, Dr. Barb's Recipe for Lifelong Intimacy, Dr. Barb Dupree. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so we're talking about sex in the senior group or older category, let's put it, or mature category, which is always a challenge. You wrote a fantastic book. You explained the secret recipe for, let's say, being intimate and having sex after menopause. Give me some of the highlights.
So the recipe for remaining sexual as women age, really it's directed toward the perimenopause and menopausal women's age group. The recipe consists of knowledge. For a lot of women, as they experience perimenopause and menopause, they're not aware of the physical changes.
Give me the age range so people understand.
40 and over.
All right, so perimenopause, you still have your menstrual cycle. It comes and goes. You may have some physical changes, a little weight gain and all of that. And then menopause is when you have complete eradication of the menstrual cycle, and now you have really low hormonal levels.
Right. The biggest hormone that has an impact for this group of women is the absence of estrogen.
Right.
And the area of the body that is most impacted by that is going to be the vagina and the vulva. And sometimes that comes somewhat later in the menopausal transition, so women don't always connect menopause with painful intercourse. Right. So the idea of the website and talking about the aspects of the expected changes is to help women understand that that may be part of their expected physical change, which leads to painful intercourse. So the other piece of the recipe is vaginal comfort, helping women understand that the progressive dryness can be managed with vaginal lubricants and moisturizers, how they differ, how you might select a lubricant or moisturizer. We also talk about genital arousal, because arousal is going to be impacted by that. In the absence of estrogen, there's going to be loss of blood supply to the genitals, which delays arousal and ability to orgasm. So I talk through how women may help that process with use of a vibrator.
All right, so let's go back to a couple of ABCs first. Should sexual questioning be part of GYN's protocol, especially in the perimenopausal, menopausal phase for a general physical of a woman today?
It should be.
It should be.
But unfortunately, it's not.
Right. It doesn't happen.
Very rarely.
Very
Only
rarely.
about 17% of patients report that they've been asked about that.
Right. So whose fault do you think it is? You think it's the doctor's fault for not incorporating that important piece of information, or is it that the patients feel shy about talking about their sexual lives?
It's probably some of both.
Both.
I think physicians, we don't get much traditional education in that area.
Which is unfortunate.
And time is of limited priorities.
Yeah. So I want to go over some hormone issues. Estrogen replacement therapy for women in the menopausal phase, do you think that is something that should be part of the care of women in their menopausal phase, and would it help with their sex life?
I think it's important to help women understand how the absence of estrogen may be impacting them. So many of their symptoms may be related to menopause, and the absence of estrogen and hormones may benefit them, but it may also be the stress and the lack of sleep and many other life factors. So a lot of things get blamed on hormones that maybe don't have a hormonal origin.
Right.
On the other hand, the impact of menopause for many women is huge, and everything from head to toe can be negatively affected by it. So there is a subset of women who can benefit greatly from hormone therapy.
I want to talk about sex therapy. What couples would benefit from going to see a sex therapist?
In my practice, many women who are now postmenopausal are beginning to experience changes sexually, which includes pain, difficulty with arousal, ability to orgasm. And they don't know how to bring their partner along on that. They don't know how to have the conversation with their partner about how those changes are impacting them. Sex is one of those areas that it's often habit and routine. And now that things have changed, that event has to change for them, but they don't know how to have that conversation. It's also a time where we see some desire discrepancy, and many women report that their loss of drive and desire is interpreted by their partner as you don't love me anymore.
Right.
You're not that interested anymore. So this is where a sex therapist can be really helpful in helping them discover the language required to communicate about that, open a dialogue, have a third party who's going to be somewhat more objective in enhancing that conversation. Because whenever you bring up the idea that maybe something should change, the perception is that I've been doing something wrong.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case. It's more that maybe this could be better, and having someone bring you along in that conversation might be very helpful.
All right, where can people get more information?
People can get more information at middlesexmd.com.
Right, and buy your book.
And buy my book. Yes, you can.
And which is available everywhere.
It is available.
Good. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Good information.
Thanks for having me.
And if you have any health questions, tweet me at Dr. Manny on Fox. Until next time, I'm Dr. Manny.